People come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I keep saying back as if you've all been here before, but if you're new to the show, it's really nice. I'm happy that you're joining us. Today's guest is, she's a wife, a mother, very much of an animal lover, a business owner, and she just so happens to be related to me, all the way from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, my great niece, Melanie Ellis. Melanie, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm going to ask you.
Here.
Great, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to ask you what might sound like a strange question, but I have a reason for it. Have you always loved animals? And the reason I ask is I didn't discover I liked animals until I was in my 40s.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I have. My dad has grew up on a farm, which obviously you know, and we always had pets in our houses, and he sort of allowed us all to adopt, it's only a better word, our own pets. So one of my sisters, she would get the cat, the other sister got the dog. I got the rodents because I have a soft spot for the little furry creatures. And then that just sort of stemmed into just a general love for all creatures, to be honest with you. But out of high school, I wanted to be in the trades to start with. Kind of like my grandma, who is a mechanic. I looked up to her quite a bit. And so I went into the trades to start, found out I'm too short for this. It's not my thing. So then I got a part-time job at PetSmart. And that just continued to fester with my love for just all things little furries. And I ended up working for an animal shelter. And then from there, I became a dog trainer. So just kind of continued through with dog behavior and stuff. And then that's just basically my passion now, is all things dogs and cats and furry creatures.
Is that your dog having a hard time there?
I do. She's actually, I'll just angle my camera down so everyone can see. She's a service dog in training. So with No Dog Left Behind, the company I work for here in Moose Jaw, sorry, technical issues here. She's being trained to be a service dog. So her name is Hope. At this time, sorry, it's kind of funny angle for my face, but she's down here on the ground. So she's just practicing being well behaved while other things are happening. So she has a placement, which is just my red mat here in my crazy office. And in her job is just to stay there for now. So she'll actually be servicing this very sweet young adult boy who suffers from Tourette's. And so she'll be there to help him kind of cope. And they have such a really, the dogs are amazing with their jobs. And I love that I'm part of it. So I wanted to make sure I could show that today. My last service dog that I helped train was actually a facility dog. So she's slightly different. And the biggest difference is there's a lot of rules and regulations for these guys, because these service dogs can actually go on airplanes, into stores, anywhere the person goes that is considered a public space, the dog can go with them for support. And it actually allows a lot of people to get out into the world more, which is just so amazing. Go ahead.
I just want to ask, how long usually does it take them from beginning to end so that they're then adopted out to or given to whoever they're going to take care of?
Yeah, it depends on the dog. Generally 2 years. It takes about 2 years of training. The beginning, of course, and they're always picked as puppies for our business that we do, because we are what's called, like we train the dogs and then we place the dogs. So dogs aren't staying with us. You can actually go through what's called an owner trained program. So you can go and get your own puppy and you can follow these programs and train your own service dog. And then you go through the same tests that we do. The only difference is after everything's done, the dog stays with you. Whereas for me, for example, I'm her second handler, and I train her, and then she goes and she'll get placed with this beautiful family, and then do her work.
Are there any breeds that are easier to train?
In my experience, yes, absolutely. If you think about a working dog, for example, when you think of police, generally you think German Shepherd, right? When you think of search and rescue, you might think of lab or lab type dog. When you think of hunting, you might think of lab as well, right? So for service work, you can actually use any breed you want. There's no stipulation. She's actually a 3 breed. So she's a Bernese Mountain Dog, Poodle, and Lab, I think. Oh my gosh, I hope that's right. Or Golden Retriever. Anyways, I just got her 2 weeks ago, so I'm still getting to know her. But anyway, so she's a 3. So she's actually been able to pull the characteristics from all 3 breeds, and it's making her very stable. And she's a very, very nice dog. She's about 1.5 years, and she's already like very, very smart. I'm a big Lab fan, so in my experience, Labs can do anything. And they're fun and they're goofy. But the best working dogs are basically anything that's bred for a purpose. So Labs have the fetch, and then the German Shepherds have the guards and that type of stuff. But yeah.
Now you have your own dogs as well, right?
I do, yeah.
How does she fit in? Is she okay with the other dogs?
She is, yes. I have a yellow lab named 3BO, like Star Wars, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And she fits right in. He's very friendly. He's about 4 years old. So he's also kind of a big puppy himself. Yes, I know. She's excited. So she fits right into the mix. She's also kennel trained. So she has her own kennel. She comes with me into stores when we do our work together. And then my dog, he stays home or he stays in the truck.
Now you also teach, which I just found out, dog agility as well, right?
I do, yeah, I do. I teach what we're calling recreational dog agility. So what that means is it's just for fun. So when you teach your dog something, whether it's a sit or a down or jump over, go through fire, whatever it is you're teaching your dog, it's confidence building, right? And it builds the bond between you and your dog. So when I took agility with R2, my previous lab, I found that he was much more confident with me, and our relationship really evolved. So I've actually started teaching my own classes and actually build my own equipment. So I brought a tire to show you. It's a little misshapen because, of course, it's sitting in my closet with all of this crazy world we live in right now, where we can't do much outside of our own homes. But anyway, so I actually build all of my agility equipment by hand. So I build tires, jumps, weave poles, teeter-totters, all kinds of stuff. And anyone can purchase it. We just have to figure out how to ship it outside of Moose Jaw. But other than that.
But when you're given the agility classes, are you still doing it, or is it COVID affected by COVID?
Yes, I was actually on maternity leave. So I haven't been teaching for the past 2 months, but because of the center and the class being one dog at a time, we can totally social distance. So I've been able to continue teaching. And we've been actually, with the company that I work for, we've been actually able to continue teaching this whole time through this second wave, if you will, because we social distance everybody. We have a nice big space, and then we can hear and we can play. So we have puppy classes still and adolescent classes, and the agility classes are wonderful because the dogs are one at a time and they don't sit or hang out together. I also teach nose work. Nose work is scent detection. That one's really fun. That one's super cool because it's a very independent sport. So it's a great sport for dogs that are nervous. So if you have a dog at home that's a little bit nervous and you're like, ooh, agility's kind of hard, my dog's maybe not that excited to exercise, or maybe he's nervous around other dogs, maybe he's dog reactive, nose work is perfect. R2, my previous dog, he was very reactive and very nervous around dogs, around too many people, all that kind of stuff. Nose work was beautiful because when they trial, so we actually got to go and get ribbons together, which was the coolest thing. They're all alone. The dog searches by himself with their handler, so they can do it safely without other dogs around or people, should that be the case. And we got like 17 ribbons before we moved out of Vancouver, which was so cool for my dog that had all these issues concerning people and dogs and whatever else. I was able to get him some ribbons, which I thought was so cool. So cool.
Cool. I just want to apologize with my lighting, but I had closed some of the curtains, but the sun keeps like it's supposed to rain today, but every once in a while the sun hits in. So that's why you're seeing me change color. Anyway, okay, so now all of this, all of what you've done and what you've been doing to date has brought you into what you do for a business otherwise, or should I say as well as.
Yep.
So what is now?
I sell biothane dog leashes and collars, and I'm currently putting together harnesses and all kinds of other stuff with the biothane. As you can kind of see in the background, the beautiful colors there. This is what's called biothane. So biothane is it's like a product that feels like leather, but it's sealed. It's super, super strong, and it's easy to wash. So I'm a big fan of hiking. I'm a big fan of getting dirty. My labs love to run through water, and their gear was always very gross. And my washing machine doesn't always tolerate leashes and collars, and you know that because they're very, very heavy. So these are actually mine. These are the leashes that I use every day, multiple times a day, and have been for just over a year for this one specific. And as you can see, the wear and tear is very, very minimal.
All right.
Like it still looks fairly new. I only added the red because I ran out of green. The one great thing about owning your own business is that it can take some time to build some stock. But anyways, it's given me some really cool feedback. This is actually my favorite leash. I designed this myself. It's called a hands-free leash. So I will quickly show you how it works. It can go over the shoulder like this and then hook sit. Good girl. So you can sort of see here. Let's tag this a little bit down. So she's sit. Yes. So it's hands-free. So when we go for our walks, I can put my arms. I can offer her a cookie if needed. Sit.
Nice. Very nice.
Good girl. So this is the first one. Sorry, I cut my head off there, but that's right. And then the second one is around the waist. So you can attach it to the other circle, and now my hands are free and I can do what I need to do with it around my waist. So as I said earlier, I was on maternity leave. So with my son, who's only 2.5 months old, I wear him in a front carrier, and then I can put it around my waist. So I can walk both dogs with the baby in the front, and I've got my hands free to do all I need to do to make it.
Multitasking, hello.
That's right, exactly. Which is, I mean, it's what we do as moms, right? And dog owners.
So if somebody wanted to order one of the, either a leash or a collar, you do collars as well, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I actually have one here. I make everything as they order it. So I don't have a lot of stock per se. I have some that you can see sort of hanging up there in the background.
Yes.
So I do have a couple in stock just as to have some, but because of the nature of my business, I make everything as it's ordered. Right. So for example, the hands-free leash, my body height and shape is not your body height and shape, let's say, right? So I make all of these exactly to you what you would need. So I get the owner to measure over their shoulders, measure on their waist, and I can add as many of these rings as they want. So if they want one where they put 2 dogs together, whatever, I make all of these as per needed. And then this is what a typical collar looks like. So we've got a nice, super strong clasp with the tags here, and then you tie your leash to this big ring here, and it goes around the dog's neck. My dog is a lab, so he's disgusting sometimes when he's outside, especially here in Saskatchewan. We don't have a lot of water, if you will, but we have a ton of grass and a ton of potential creatures living in the grass, especially right now, things like ticks and yeah, it's fun. Anyway, so what's nice about gear that is washable is I just take it off, I wipe it with a baby wipe, and he's been wearing this for a while, and it's barely...
That's nice.
Yeah, it looks fairly new if you think about how long he's been wearing it and how gross of a dog he can be, and how we look for adventures.
What made you decide to make those items?
Just because my gear was always filthy. My leashes, because I teach classes, I like using my own gear. So I always had a leash tied around over my shoulder. And what was happening was they were really ratty looking because they're old leashes, and I like having something on me in case I need it. Quick grab for a dog. So I actually wear this while I'm working. So I decided to go into purchasing some biothane to make my own stuff. And I thought, hey, like I could engineer some pretty cool things. And because I teach classes and a lot of my coworkers teach classes, and I've got friends, tons of friends who have dogs, I was like, let's get more people on this amazing gear that lasts forever and it's so easy to clean. So we decided, my husband and I, that we're gonna go into this together and start a little endeavor. So I make, like I said, all kinds of leashes, mostly for adventuring. That's my biggest thing. If I can get people with their dogs out having fun, not worrying about, you know, oh, so I need to bring this and this and this. With this leash, like I said, you can even use it as a regular leash. You can tether your dog to something. The long leashes, so the thinner material that you see here is what I use when I go hiking. So I make a 12-foot leash or longer if the owner wants. And I tie my dog to it and I can hold the end. So now he can go 12 feet and he can sniff and he can run through bogs and whatever else suits his fancy. And I can stay nice and clear from the dirt.
So if somebody wanted to order one, how would they do that?
I have a website. It's very easy to remember. It's trainhappy.ca.
Trainhappy.ca.
That's correct.
Trainhappy.ca. Now, could they also maybe get a hold of you on Facebook?
Absolutely. I have an Instagram page, which is Train Happy Dogs. So that's probably the easiest way, is through my Instagram. I'm working on putting together a Facebook page, but we haven't quite gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
Just slowly building. I have obviously my own under Melanie Ellis, but through the website, you can actually email me as well if the people are like, you know, this is what I want. I have 3 dogs and I want to walk them without using my hands. What do I need? And I can sort of engineer something for them.
That's awesome. Well, we're out of time, but just stay on the camera for a second while I say goodbye to the audience, okay?
Okay.
So everybody, I hope you enjoyed meeting my great niece and the wonderful things she does. And I'm going to include her website during the credits. You'll see it there. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, peace out, everyone.
A sense of community, till the wax a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.